I think it would be an understatement to say the last few months have been crazy and the unknown has been overwhelming. I'm sure a lot of you had to take a hard look at your business, your purpose, and how you're showing up. My guest, Corie Clark, dives deeper into all of that, and you'll walk away inspired to serve your audience and maybe learn a new, unique way to serve. Corie Clark is a personal brand expert, the author of The Simplicity Project, creator of the Purposeful Planner, and host of the Purpose Babe Show. Corie is passionate about helping women discover their purpose and turn it into a life and business they love. Now let's dive in. Hey there, Mom Boss. Welcome to the Social Media for Mompreneurs podcast, where we dive into personal branding, how to build our businesses on social media, learn some really cool marketing hacks, all while balancing family life. And don't forget, we do it the fun and easy way. I'm Allison Scholes, once a corporate marketing coordinator, a teacher, and now photographer and podcaster. And yes, I'm that boss lady in sweatpants. Go ahead and hand out the kids' tablets, open those juice boxes, put on your comfy sweatpants, and hide in your closet. Let's get this party started. Hello, Corie. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here, and I'm really excited to have you on the show. But before we step into purpose and serving our audience, please tell us about your business and your purpose.
Awesome. Okay, so my business, my business was really founded on my purpose, and so I help women. I help them in two ways. I help them discover their purpose and simplify their lives so that they can live more purposefully. And then I also coach and help purpose-driven women build their businesses. And so, and I do that through a membership and a mastermind and my podcast. So, but ultimately, like, as far as purpose goes, that's kind of where this all started. And I really just felt like I was being called to live more purposefully and intentionally. And that's when I started actually simplifying my life and helping other women do the same. So my business and purpose kind of just go hand in hand.
I love that. So, Corie, why is it important for entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, to align their business to their purpose?
Yeah, I honestly, this is something that I think it's the first thing that someone should do when they are creating their business is make sure that they know their purpose and they are aligned with it. Because if you start to, I'm sure you've experienced this as entrepreneurs and creatives, we get distracted by shiny objects. We get distracted by new business ideas, and we can end up chasing things that actually aren't aligned with our purpose. And those are the things that we can get burnt out on. Those are the things that we can, get tired of doing and maybe even throw in the towel. So I think it's really important, like not even just at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey, but to have those check-ins, like every few months, like, is my business aligned with my purpose? Is this working? Is this making sense? And just making sure you're not veering off that path.
I love how you said that, because I think you're right when people have to do the occasional check-in, because how I started my business, that's when I realized it wasn't aligned with my purpose anymore. I had to make a pivot, and I had to tell myself that, hey, it's okay to stop doing this in your business because it wasn't bringing me joy anymore. It was more of just a weight on my shoulders. And I felt so much pressure. And, it was like one night I was like, why am I doing this? Because if it's not serving me and it's not aligning with me and bringing me joy and purpose, how could I really serve those that need me?
Yeah, exactly. And I went through something similar with my business as well, and we had the planner business going, and it was starting to feel like I was building a stationary business, but that wasn't what I wanted. I was creating tools to help women, live purposefully and simplify their lives. And I started creating something that I did not like. And so we kind of did this pivot. We still make the planners, but it's not about building a stationary business or brand. It's really still about just equipping women.
And I think this is such a great time to talk about this because I'm sure during quarantine, some female entrepreneurs are choosing not to sell in their business right now. But
Mm.
what should they be doing no matter what?
Well, no matter what, if they're choosing not to sell, then they still need to be showing up and serving, in any way they possibly can. I think, it's been a long time now. At the beginning, a lot of people weren't selling at all, but I'm seeing more people kind of getting back into that rhythm, finding a new rhythm, maybe pivoting a little bit to get back into that selling. And at the end of the day, selling is serving. So I think that the more that you can get into the habit of serving, it's not going to feel so like sleazy or like you're trying to take advantage of someone.
And I believe today you have 5 unique ways on how we can serve our audience.
Yeah, I would love to share those with you. I did a podcast episode recently sharing some of these because I did have, I had women in my coaching group and they're just like a little nervous. They're just not sure what to do right now. And so I really just wanted to make sure that they were equipped with something that they could like take some action on. So the first one would be to like host a free workshop or a free webinar. And like when I say free, like I mean like no strings attached, no pitch at the end, just do a free training, something that you're good at, something that you can, you don't have to be a coach. You can be whatever it is that you are good at, just host a free class. And it can be on Zoom, it can be just a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live, but it's a great way to just connect and offer that service and value to your audience without asking them to buy anything. The second one that I had said was to create a brand new freebie. So some of us, we have like our freebies and our opt-ins that are just kind of on autopilot, but maybe it's time to make a new one. And even if it's not for the purpose of building your list, but to serve your current list, just create something new for them, a new guide or a new checklist or an ebook or something. And then at the same time, then hopefully you will actually be building your list, with new subscribers. And then the third one would be to go into Instagram and send some voice DMs to some of like your best fans and your best, followers, the people who are commenting, the people who like every picture you post. Just surprise them, like slide into their DMs, not just with a text, but actually with some like, the voice one, because there's a big difference between when you get a voice DM and when you just get like, some little text that could just be copy and pasted, and I think it's a great way to connect, honestly, to just like break down some of those walls that they might have between, you and them, and show them that you're just a real person and that you appreciate them. And then let's see, number 4, I wrote them down so I made sure I wouldn't forget. Number 4 would be to actually send a handwritten note, maybe to some of your customers or clients, and actually send some snail mail so that they have something, something exciting when they go open their mailbox. A lot of these people aren't leaving their houses at all. There's nothing exciting to break up the day. And that's something that would be really special and unique. And, so maybe your best, if you do have clients and you have their addresses, some of your best clients, sit down and write out some handwritten notes. And then the 5th thing would be to just continue to show up as exactly as who you are. Let your audience know how you feel about how this is going. Let them know what you're doing to get through. What are some ways that you're, working through this with your kids or your spouse, and just continue to show up consistently, letting them know you're still there and you still care about them, and, and just being vulnerable.
I love all of these unique ways. And I think my favorite one is number 3. I always try to do that when I have someone brand new in my following and they will DM me with just like a really basic question. I never, ever answer in text. I always,
I love that.
Voice message them because it's like an immediate connection and you are showing your audience that you really care about them. You took the time to think about what you're going to say. And,
Mhm.
and it's a one-on-one conversation. It's nothing that has been like copy and pasted, because you can always tell the DMs that have been copy and pasted.
Exactly.
Right? Now, when it comes to business, what is something you wish you would have known sooner?
Oh, wow. Sorry, excuse me.
Kind of a loaded
There
question
honestly,
there,
I know.
right?
Well, there's so much, and that kind of does go back to the being aligned with your purpose, because my business started that way. And honestly, when we had to pivot, it was really hard. And so I wish I would have known that in the first place before we started growing it. Everything kind of took off for us with our business. When we did the planners, that part of our business just kind of took off, and we just kept kind of rolling with it, just doing what we needed to do to like keep up with the demand and to keep up with customer service. And we got so sucked into that part of the business, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But we really didn't understand that that actually just needed to be like its own complete, like separate part, and it was really pulling me away from what I really wanted to be doing, and like just constantly working on like in the back end. And so I think really knowing like what you want, not just your purpose, but what's the purpose of your business, like knowing that and like staying true to that, to your values. And then I think like hiring, like getting help, because like the busier your business gets, then the more it's taking from you and how you serve your audience in your unique way. And so if you're not doing that, if you're not able to show up for your audience, for your customers, it's really going to like put a wedge between you and them. It's going to be a lot harder to build your audience. It's going to be a lot harder to grow. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't want it to sound like the whole purpose answer again, but I truly do. Like that was kind of like our biggest learning point in the last like 6 years, was having to take that step back. And so I wish I would have known that ahead of time, because we probably wouldn't have had to do such a hard pivot. It probably would have just been more organic and natural.
Well, that is so inspiring, because I'm sure we have a lot of listeners who, a lot of listeners have gone from the 9 to 5 corporate or whatever they were
Mm-hmm.
in, and they are wanting to be an entrepreneur because they have a why, they have a purpose. But it's so easy once you step into that entrepreneurial journey that you are flooded with information and overwhelmed, and you
Mm-hmm.
feel that you just have to do all the things that everyone else is doing. And
Yeah.
that's when you need to have that real true check in and give yourself permission to put the blinders on and do you. Like, don't
Yeah.
do what everyone else does, just do you. And I've had to have those really hard lessons in the last year where
Mm-hmm.
I thought I had to be doing what everyone else was doing. And I thought, but I'm not enjoying it. And I'm not jumping out
Yeah.
of bed every morning to do this. So it's like, no, take a step back and just choose to do what really fulfills me on a day to day. So,
Yeah.
listeners, you have permission.
Exactly. Exactly. You have permission to do whatever you want, and if you decide like, oh, I hate this business, I need to pivot, then that's what you need to do.
Absolutely. It's okay to pivot. I had to pivot in the middle of the night with a handful of, fudge stick cookies to get me through it, but I did it, right?
Yeah.
Well, Corie, I would actually love to know a little more about your purposeful planner, because I think the title is really cool. And I'm sure it's very different from your typical like time management planner.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Well, the reason I even created it in the first place was I actually had written a book called The Simplicity Project, and this was in 2014. And I wrote the book based on our experience that basically I had taken my family through and myself to simplify our lives. I had felt this like calling, and I just felt like I wasn't truly like living out my purpose, because we were just living in chaos. We were just keeping up with the Joneses and keeping up with, the to-do list and running kids places and being involved in so many things that I was just stretched too thin. And so we decided to simplify our lives. Well, I kind of decided. The kids were a lot younger. So it was just something we were doing. And I wrote a book on that experience. But what I based it on was simplifying your health, your home, your finances, and your time. Because a lot of times people are just like, oh, I'll just declutter something. But really, like, all four of those areas of our life bleed together. So if one of them's like a little bit too chaotic, it's going to pull from other areas. And so that's why I really tried to focus on creating some margin in each of those areas. So once people started reading the book, they really wanted like a planner that implemented what I like, so that they could implement what I taught in the book. And I couldn't find one that had space for each of those four areas. You know, there's a lot of planners that are just for your time, or maybe you can get a meal planner, or you can get like a budget thing. So this actually like encompasses all four of those areas. It has a place for you to work on your budget. It has a place for you to plan your menu. It has a place where you can track your water and, you know, your health, and it has obviously like the time stuff. So and it that's kind of the biggest difference, is because it can help you in your whole life and not just time management. You know, we've got like a little 15-minute task that you can do each day just to help you keep up with household stuff that you wouldn't normally think of. And so the whole point of the planner was really to just give people like one place where they could simplify their entire life.
That is so cool. I love that. And I will be checking out that planner, because I do feel like I have the time management planner, and then I have the sticky notes for what I need to do around the house. And oh yeah, I need to incorporate now my son's e-learning into my, I'm just like, oh my goodness. So yeah,
yes.
it is a little chaotic right now, but I know it'll get better. So
yes.
Corie, last question. What is the best piece of advice you can share with the listeners who are feeling stuck during this time?
I think if you're feeling stuck, then you should do a big fat brain dump of all the things that you would ever wish your business to become, all the things you want to do in your life. Just do a big fat brain dump, because sometimes when we're stuck, it's really just because everything's just stuck in our head, and then we freeze. And then you need to take action. Like, even if it's just the tiniest little bit of action, even if it's just, I don't even care if it's something in your house, like go declutter a closet. Like when you take action, like you get clarity, you start gaining momentum. And so if you're feeling stuck in your business, like what's one little thing you can do to take like a tiny little step that will actually bring you some clarity? And like, don't overthink it, because honestly, even just drafting an email to send to your, list can bring you clarity. And like, it can open up a whole floodgate of things that you actually need to do and start building that momentum. So I think find something that you can actually take action on. It's going to lead you to the next step and the next, and help you get to that place where you're hoping to get to.
Corie, this was so informative and so inspiring. I can't thank you enough for sharing all of the wonderful value you put into the show today. And I know the listeners are going to love you. So where can we connect with you on social media?
Definitely Instagram. That's where I love to hang out. And it's just Corie Clark. Yeah, nothing special, no underscores. And that's where honestly, that's where I love to connect with people. I'm the one who's in my DMs. I don't have like an assistant doing it or anything like that. So I am on Facebook and stuff as well, but Instagram's where I love to hang out with my people.
That's awesome. And I will make sure that I put all of your information in the show notes. But Corie, thank you so much. And I hope you have a fabulous day.
Aw, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for tuning in today. If you loved today's episode, then please head over to iTunes, social media for mompreneurs, and leave a review. Your review helps grow the show. And don't forget, head to bossladyandsweatpants.com to grab all my freebies and hang out with me on Instagram at Allison Scholes. I'll see you soon.